don't we just call the meeting to order then? Let's see. Welcome everyone. This is the Finance Committee meeting of March 21st, 2022. In attendance from the committee, we have Michael Bennett. Cheryl is here. John is here. Todd will be late, but he's joining shortly. And then our usual support team with Sandy and Linda. First item on the agenda tonight, we'll table. We don't have minutes due to some just systems issues this week at Town Hall. So the minutes aren't ready for a vote. So we'll table that for next week. That's still correct, right,
Yes.
Linda?
Yep.
Okay. So we will table those for next week. First thing on the agenda following acceptance of minutes is a reserve fund transfer request from Chief Averos. So we've got the materials, Chief. Maybe just walk us through the logic of that, and committee may have some questions.
So the property 638 Monponsa Street. It's at the corner of Monponsa and Ocean Ave. It's the house is basically falling down. We had a survey board go out and we looked at it. It's, you know, we fear that it's in danger of collapse and a risk to the public, especially as it's so close to the street. The property, the homeowner hasn't been responsive to us for the most part, as far as, you know, ripping it down. It does not appear that they're going to be able to take it down. So what we'd like to do is request a transfer of $12,000 into the secure unsafe properties account to take the house down and dispose of it. We did speak with the treasurer's office, and they're looking into putting a demolition lien on the property for whatever it costs us to take it down. We did get a couple of quotes. Right now, the low quote was $11,555, but we have a little, you know, with there was a balance in that account of almost $3,500. That quote had a set amount of material they'd be taken off site, so we, you know, just a little bit of cushion in there in case there's additional material to go off site.
Okay. Sandy, what's the accounting transactions on that? Like, where's it come from?
So the secure unsafe properties account is something that usually takes a reserve fund transfer because we don't plan for it. And it's usually an extreme case. So the money goes in. The reason why there's a balance is we turned around and billed the last person that we used. We turned around and billed them. And I don't know if it was them or their mortgage company did reimburse us for the money that we spent. So that's why there's a balance in that account.
And we take the same action here, right? We put a demolition lien on the property, so there's recourse to the town. We may get this money back.
That is the premise. Yes, that's what we're going to try to do.
Okay. Any questions from the committee?
No, it doesn't seem like we have much of an option, I think. Yeah.
Let me call for a vote on this then, please.
Motion to approve the reserve fund transfer.
Second.
I think Cheryl's trying to, no, she raised.
Oh, the thumbs up. Do you have a question, Cheryl, or? Okay, thank you. All right, that was a second. Let the record show that was a thumbs up second. Okay, a roll call vote. Michael Bennett.
Yes.
John Smalling.
Yes.
Cheryl Zarella Burke. I think I need a voice. Can you come off mute in any way? Having trouble. Okay, so by indication, Cheryl's voted in favor. Tom Connolly voting in favor. So
okay.
There we are. There you are. Welcome back. So motion carries. All in favor. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Is Pam on? She was next on the agenda. Pam Aducci?
Nope. So I think I sent an email earlier just letting you know that she was asked to be pushed off until next week for her request.
You're absolutely right. Yes. So So Steve Hayward's up on at least 3 budget items with highway, cemetery, and recycling. Steve?
Yeah, we might as well do recycle first because Sue is here.
That'd be great.
Okay, do you have the paperwork that I gave Linda? That shows the new budget figures?
So I emailed it to all of you.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure. We have, yes, as long as when they say latest, some things are like 3 hours ago. So I just wanted to make sure it was the last one that we got. So yes, we have that. Thank you.
Okay, well, we normally go out to bid. With Charlie leaving, Charlie and I had discussed it before he left, that maybe this year we would not go out to bid because it's chapter, I forget the name of the chapter, but you don't have to go out to bid on solid waste. And just have waste management extend it 1 more year till we got a new town administrator, that was permanently to work with to go out to bid. So
Mhm.
waste management came in and they went up like 68%. So now we are going out to bid because this is unaffordable, but right now it's the only figure I have.
Okay. Did they break it
it's a-
down? I mean, have they explained the 68%? Is it tipping fees or, is there
No.
something underneath it?
They're saying it's prevailing wage. They're also stating because they can't find any employees that they're offering free tuition reimbursement to all their employees. They're
They're
giving them
probably
healthcare.
honest.
They're just making this job, they're paying them so much money, and of course, that's coming off to us.
Sure.
Because they said no one wants to pick trash up.
And the contract is effectively up for, like, they have a repricing opportunity going into this budget.
Yes.
Yeah, only because I asked them. Because I was trying to avoid going out to bid, but when, like I said, she came in so high, we already had the bid specs ready. So
Mhm.
we're just cleaning them up right now, and those bid specs are going out at the end of next week.
Okay.
And hopefully this will not be the figure that we're dealing with, but it's the only one that I have to work with.
Okay. So what's the deadline on the, when you put the RFP out, sounds like tomorrow or this week, what deadline are we going to have on it? I'm just curious if we're going to have your bids back in time for the annual meeting.
Town meeting.
We're hoping to have the bids back by April, end of April.
Does that work, Sandy?
Yeah, that will be,
It's tight.
we will print in the warrant the amount that Waste Management quoted
Mhm.
in case it is up that high. And then hopefully we will have the bids back and we'll have a better bid and be able to bring it down.
Okay.
All right. The other thing you'd like to ask her about is her hazardous waste went up $3,400. So while she's there, take advantage.
Okay, well, the hazardous waste technically, I didn't get what I asked for last year, so I'm just asking for what I asked for the year before, because we're gonna cut it really close this year. In fact, I might even be a little, go a
Over.
little over, because we couldn't get any of the TVs picked up for the last year and a half because of COVID. So I just had a ton of TVs picked up that were almost 2 years worth. So
Mhm.
that's more money than was budgeted because it was supposed to be spent last year.
Right.
And I don't know what we're gonna do about hazardous waste because both of them were complete utter failures and they were extremely expensive. So I don't know if we should just skip a year on that and then I won't need as much money. If that's someone, I have to talk to someone and Steve and see what we want to do as far as that goes. We spent $12,000 last year and only 62 people did it. And the year before, it was in the $12,000 range and only 71 people did it. So it just seems like just such a waste of money.
Yeah. Is there any statutory requirement that we provide the service?
No, because they can go to Clean Harbors if they desperately
Right.
want to, they can pay for it on their own and get rid of it.
Yeah, it just seems like, I mean, there's so many services that we're trying to provide that people actually want. And This one, you've made this prepayment and then people aren't taking advantage of it.
Exactly. It's kind of, it just doesn't seem worth it. So I may
Well,
not
yeah.
need that money.
And we're looking for places to cut without compromising the services that people get. So if that makes total sense to us.
My thought was maybe do it every other year.
Mm.
Yeah, at the same price.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, any other issues on recycling that we should be aware of?
Hi, it's Jean Galan at the library. Can I ask Sue a question?
Sure,
So,
Jean.
thank you. So funny as it is, I had a patron come in here and said that she had some old gasoline and stuff, and she wanted to know how to get rid of it. And I talked to her about the hazardous waste day. Now I can reach out to her again, but should I tell her to go to Clean Harbors? Is that it?
Well, I actually, someone called me today about old gasoline, and I'm wondering if that was.
Yeah, that probably was her.
So we'll take like a gallon of it, in a
Okay.
town, because we'll put it in the used oil burner, but we'll only do a gallon or else we're making a bomb. So,
Yeah.
Right.
but sometimes Steve will take it when he was gonna do, if he has burns and stuff. So that's
Yep.
kind of what we do with the old gas. But for the most part, if she has a ton of it, if it's the same person, she had no idea how many gallons it was, how big her containers were. So I really couldn't help her.
Right.
So
Sounds like her. So you're ahead of the game. Thank you.
Yeah, because we can put 10% gas into the tank, but we don't want to put that much in there.
No.
Wow.
All right, Steve.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Steve, highway or cemetery?
All right, that's it. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
All right, what do you want to know?
Just walk us through the budget. If you want, we'll bring it up on the screen, but maybe just walk us through kind of where you see the pros and cons, right? What do you anticipate we're going to get questions on? You work with a very skinny budget, particularly on roads, given what roads cost and that. So where you have an empathic audience, we just want to kind of hear from you about the budget and kind of what challenges it presents.
Okay, the only two that I actually went up on, I tried to level fund everything else, was the traffic lights and the tree removal. And then the other one was the 150 up to 300,000 again for the roads.
Right.
And the fourth one, shoot, I had it with me. Well, let me go over these first anyway. So the traffic lights, the increase on that is because of the maintenance on them. We just had them all redone, but it's still the maintenance, like we had a storm and it did some damage. It cost us more money than what we thought it was gonna cost. And we can't work on those lights. We can change the lights, but we can't work on the insides. So that's the reasoning for that $2,000 increase. We're asking for that.
See, the maintenance increase is sort of transactional. It's how hard a damage they take, or it's scheduled.
Right. No, there's no schedule on it. It's
Yeah.
more when something breaks, we fix it.
Okay.
And then,
Thanks.
like I said, that storm, we've been having a lot of wind storms and we're getting a lot of damage to the cables and the lights from the wind. So that's where we've gone up on, that's why we went up on that one. And then the tree removal, like I just said, we've had a lot of just wind storms, not the snow and the rain. It's more the wind damage. And we had to take one tree down for an emergency, and it was $3,000. I have a $3,500 budget. So I got $500 to work the rest of the year. And there's not too much you can do for $500.
No.
That's for sure.
Well, and it's just
And
the
like I
windstorms
said,
keep
with
getting
all the
worse.
windstorms, I'm getting more and more calls about people finding trees in the right of way that basically fall on us. And if I see that something's wrong with it, it's too big for us to take down. I have to hire a company.
Yeah.
And I don't have the money to do that. Everybody thinks money grows on trees around here for some reason, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but all the trees are falling down, so there's no money left. Right? Yeah.
So that's my reasoning for that.
Makes sense. Roads?
And the roads is just trying to get some more road work done. Like I said, we went from 150, it's been 155, I don't know how long. And it's just, we're so far behind now because that wasn't enough money to do anything. Now I get 300,000. This will be the second year I get it. And I just had an estimate for 1 mile of road on 106, and it's $382,000.
For 1 mile of repairs or repaving?
That is a mill overlay and a top coat.
Okay.
So that's what we did up on 58. And that's what we want to do on 106. And then whatever money we get from chapter 90 and anything like that, then I'll be using that to do some of the real bad roads, do sections of those. Because I don't know if you're around when I ran, my whole thing is to get the good roads fixed, because if we let those go, it's going to cost us twice as much money. If I can spend the money on the roads now like they are, at least I won't be spending as much on that section. It kind of stinks, but it's the way of the few. That's how a lot of the towns are doing it now.
Okay. Sandy or Steve, how much could we count on from chapter 90?
So we've been getting, what is it, Steve, about 265,000
Yes.
a year?
Yep. And they were
About
talking
265,000 a year.
and they're talking we might get another 100 and something, but that might have fallen through in Congress or something like that.
Yeah. Every year they push for more chapter 90 money for the towns. And that doesn't always come through. For the last 3 years, I believe it's been just 265,000.
Would we get anything from the infrastructure bill that Biden sent along that Charlie Baker was talking about last week?
Well, that would go to the state.
So the ARPA money that we did get was not, we were supposed to use it on infrastructure, but it was not for roadways. The infrastructure they wanted you to use it on was water, drinking water, wastewater, and broadband.
Telecoms, yeah.
So, right. So roadways did not count and for using that money,
Right,
didn't qualify.
Charlie Baker was talking about all the infrastructure money and what he was going to do with the roadways, with it. The town doesn't get any of that.
Right. No, I think that was for state roads. I think that was the state.
Right, but
Yeah,
is it
I think that's part of the one that I heard about. It was going to go into the chapter 90. It was going to be like another check from chapter 90, and it was going to be something $1,000, but that kind of fell through in Congress or somewhere.
Okay.
So Steve, I think Cheryl asked a good question though.
Yeah,
there a second ago. Is it 106 and 58? Aren't there state roads, and kind of how does that work?
They're state numbered roads. The state doesn't do anything with it except for put a number on the road.
Got
on
it.
the sign.
Just the route number.
Yeah, we still have to pay for the signs and all that, except for like they just put up the Halifax to Plimpton line. I mean, the town line. They replace those once in a while. That's about it, I think. That's the only thing I've ever seen.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions from the committee?
There was a fourth one, but I can't think of what the fourth one was.
I don't see anything else where you went up on your budget, Steve. But you have 3 capital requests in here. One is a dump truck, one's the double walled waste oil, and the water recycling. If you want to talk about, mention.
Those would be great.
Say something about that.
All right, so you guys all set with the budget part of it then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then on the truck, when I had it priced out a few months ago, it was what was it, $80-something thousand for the truck, just the chassis, and then the rest of it would have been another 50 to 60,000 for the dump body and the rest, plow and sander. Since then, it's gone up, and now basically the truck is $120,000 to $130,000. And that's off of the VEH 111, the state bid, the state contract. So I'd buy it straight off of that. And so now, like I said, now it's up to 190 to 200,000, and I'd ask for the 200, and hopefully it stays under that. And this is for a medium-sized truck. It's not for the like the Peterbilt that I bought before. This is going to be a little bit smaller than that, but bigger than the 1-tons we have. So I'm trying to save some money by going smaller, but it's still big enough to do everything that we need to do. And it kind of helps because we don't have any medium-sized trucks.
It's primarily sanding and plowing, Steve?
Yeah, that'll be sanding and plowing.
Okay.
And the truck we're replacing is a 1995. The guy that's going to be retiring in a couple of years or a year, it's his truck, and he's been babying it. He's helped us a lot. He's had that thing going 2 years more than what it should have been, really.
It should.
But this year, every time it went out, something seemed to break on it, and I was trying to hold off for another year, but I think it's going to cost us more money to try to hold off than it's going to be to buy a new one.
It's a 20-year-old truck pretty soon. I mean, that's just, and
And with all the salt now, the trucks don't last like they used to, so.
yeah. Okay. Anything on the highway committee, folks, that you want to ask about on the highway budget?
No.
Okay. Cemetery?
Well, I still have there's 2 more articles.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're doing articles. I'm sorry. I don't have the paper in front of me, Steve, so I'm lost track. Go ahead.
All right. The second one is
Water recycling.
75,000. Let me get the paperwork on this one.
Yeah.
Trying not to mess it up so I don't lose myself here. All right. Well, the second one is for the wash bay we have. It's a recycling wash bay, and it hasn't worked in probably, I think they built this building in 2000. It stopped working in 2003. So we've been just using straight from the garden hose, and it fills the trap up. That it's a recycling system. So every time it fills up, we got to pump it out. And now with all the stormwater stuff, we shouldn't be doing that, number one. But I did buy some of the bag filters like they do at a construction site. So we put the water through the bag filters before it goes onto the ground. So that's what I've been trying to do to keep us somewhat in compliance, but I don't really think it is. So I want to get this recycler going again. And I had the company come in. They took a look at it, and to fix everything that's wrong with it, it's going to cost almost as much money to buy a new one, because you're going to have to replace all the gaskets, everything on it is just dried up. So this is the same exact machine, everything. It's going to be taking the old one out. And I think I can save some money on that, because if we do the construction on that deconstruction, we might be able to save some money, because it was 14,000 in that cost of putting the new one in and decommissioning the other one. So I might be able to save some there, so it won't be 75, but still, that's the price I got. And then talking to Scott, I want to put a roof over the wash bay, because when it rains, all that water goes into the pit that is supposed to be water for the recycle. So that just keeps on filling it up, and then we got to pump it out. So if we have a roof and stuff over it, we won't be having that problem either.
So 75K for the wash bay roof, 55K for the wash bay.
Basically, no, it's it is 47.9 for the unit.
Yep. Install
and dismantle is 14.25, and that would be the total of 62 for that part of
Okay.
it. And the roof, Scott said I will be able to get the roof done for 12,000. I should be under 12,000.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm looking at the capital project request form, which has it at 75 all in. So that's what I was getting confused on. Okay.
Everything all together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything altogether is 75.
Okay. Steve, did we hear you right? It opened in 2000. The
This
wash
built
was,
in-
what was the working life on the wash bay before it broke?
They say 15 to 20 years.
Okay,
I don't know what happened to it. I wasn't here.
got it. Okay,
So when I got here, we were just using the garden hose to the pressure washer, and that's how we've been doing it ever since. And back then, they weren't really pushing the stormwater stuff,
mhm,
so people really didn't
No,
pay
yeah.
attention to it. And now the towns are being watched, and we should abide by the law.
sure, absolutely. Okay, was there another, or those were the
That's-
capital
That
requests?
one, and this is the same, another different thing is same with the stormwater stuff. We've got the tank out back for the waste oil is a single
Single
wall
wall.
unit, and it should be a double wall. The outside unit is a double wall, but he can repipe it so it makes it legal again. And then we'll put in a new tank for the double wall, which will make that part of it all good. But we have storage of 55-gallon drum that we use. They have this funnel, so it makes it easier to see what people have dumped here when they drop off their waste oil. We just pour it right into the single wall tank now, so you can't really see what's going into it. This is a funnel system that's got its own pipe, to the tank. It's got its own pump. It's all air run, and it just makes things more. What's the proper word? More safe compared to what we do now,
Compliant.
and compliant. And that's what is it? And that's that part of it. Except for one thing came up after I got the bid, was I sent today I sent the paperwork on it. It's a used oil recovery system. It's basically for when the mechanic does the fire trucks, oil changes I'm talking, the fire trucks, the loader, the backhoe, like our bigger trucks you can fit on the lift. Those bigger things can't go on the lift, so we have a 55-gallon drum in a quarter, and he puts that underneath the truck to get the oil, which is, again, it's not legal. You shouldn't be using that to do that, but that's what we've had. So this new system is expensive, but it makes everything compliant. It's got its own pump on it, so it's all contained. Just wheel it underneath it, do your oil change, bring it over to that funnel or to the tank, and just hook up the air to it and puts it right into the tank. So you're not transferring it open air like.
Sandy, I'm not seeing that in the capital planning file for highway.
No, that wasn't. So Steve, is that
That's
part
okay.
of the $50,000 or is it going to be additional?
It would be 52,600.
That's additional to what's currently in the capital plan.
This is additional to what
So
I.
it's an additional 2,600. It would bring
mean,
the
if-
price up.
Yeah, if
Okay,
we can't afford it this year, then, I mean, we'll keep on using the other barrel. But while I have a chance to buy all this together, and
Yeah.
that's
makes sense.
why
Yeah.
I'm thinking to do it now instead of waiting.
okay. So we just need the description of it, right, Sandy? And we can,
Yeah, if you just,
Yeah.
Steve, when you get that additional part, if you send it through to us.
Linda's got it.
It's, Linda sent it to us in our email. It was
Oh,
in
did
a
you?
late email
Alright.
from Linda, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
Oh,
looking at
sorry,
a
I missed
picture of it
I'm
now.
looking in OneDrive and didn't see it there. Sorry.
Oh, it's not on the OneDrive, it's in the email.
Okay.
I'll get it to you, Sandy. I'll give it to you tomorrow.
okay.
Okay.
Great.
Later.
And that's the same thing. I'll get an actual estimate. This is just like what the guy told me, the price. I'll
Right.
get the estimate before I can but I just wanted to put this price out there, see what you guys say.
Well, if it's, yeah,
Right. Thank you. It makes eminent sense. Thank you. Okay. Now I think we're at cemetery.
Yep. And there's nothing, no changes, no
no article.
don't need extra
No.
money. Not going for
Okay.
anything.
Okay, then we're good. That one's level funded and we'll be good shape there. All right. Any other questions for Steve? Okay. Steve, thanks very much. This was really helpful in just getting us prepped for the annual town meeting. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
You too. I think Caesar's up now.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Caesar.
Do you want me to share my screen and show the sheet I sent, or do you
That's
guys already
always
have that?
That's always helpful if we can, then we're all looking at the same page, yeah.
No problem. All right, can you guys see the screen?
It's coming. Yep,
It's
it's up,
there.
thank you.
There we are.
You're welcome. All right. So this is the last and final, I can guarantee that, revision to the budget for IT. I guess I'll just jump right to it. The total increase, which includes my wages as of this very moment, is a total of $3,877.05. The only proposed line that I'm requesting is line 31, which is $1,500. That would substitute the capital request for the printer and copier upgrades that I'm requesting. I know that we had talked about the possibility of doing the lease term within the capital, and that wasn't favored. I am requesting that we still lease the machines instead of buying them outright, and that's what that cost would be for at least the highway and library copiers, and then the water department would cover their own because they have an enterprise account. If we don't lease them, then we just buy them outright and use them until they die out and spend another over $2,000 to replace them in however many years we decide to hold it off at that point and go from there. If you guys don't or aren't in favor of adding that leasing to the budget, the that green total right here would be the total increase, and that does not include the wages. That would just be the total increase to the budget, and that's with the document management system being added. That's with the antivirus being added, and all the other increases across the board. So if you're in favor of leasing them and taking out the $6,000 capital project or capital request, that's your increase. And then that's the increase operationally without my wages right here. But that's pretty much it. I can't cut anymore.
So I'm trying to understand, I'm not doing the math on your spreadsheet, Caesar, but we've got all of these ads. I don't see how we get to 3877 as the total increase when I see line 20, for example, at 4877. So how are you?
So throughout the year from the all right, this total increase, this 3877 is not all of these being added up. It's this total minus this total. The reason why there are certain increases here and this doesn't even add up to this total increase is because certain things, like for instance, the server email to lines 12 and 13 were our combined item at the beginning of the year. After the budget was approved, in order to cut where I could and not be forced into having to increase it again the following year, I made a service adjustment to go to 2 different providers, and if you add these 2 numbers together, it comes out to like 27 and change, or 26 and change, or something like that, and it's still cheaper than this. So this, we approved $29,000 for this fiscal year, but because of changes I made and going to different providers and making certain changes, I ended up not having to spend the full 29 on it.
Right, so on line 12 and 13, you're seeing a $2,653 decrease.
Right.
So
Right.
because of that decrease, that's why.
And I
it's
didn't
not
include,
quite
yeah,
going up as much.
and I didn't include the decreases just because I didn't want to confuse people with all the numbers. So I figured I would just
Oh,
show the
Well,
increases.
it's good it's a good accounting practice for us to understand where the debits and credits are. So now I'm understanding. So you only put the increases in your difference column?
Correct. The only time you'll see a decrease total is that if it sections out the decrease, like for line 6, this entire line is a decrease of 2,688. And that's
Mhm.
because I'm disconnecting the broadband at town hall and doing just the fiber as opposed to having both.
I think just for the sake of good order, I mean, we should have a financial statement on our IT budget that is consistent with what we have for all the other departments, which would mean debits and credits and are all the differences are tallied up there. This is, I think it's just standard practice. So we need to have that before we vote. We're not voting tonight, so I think we can come that.
So the first, right, the first
Go ahead.
page that he sent in, Caesar, can you go up to the top to the actual budget sheet? Yeah. All right.
There we are.
So
That looks
there
more like,
we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what you guys are
Slide it
getting.
the other way, Caesar. Slide it the other way. Because I can't see the 2023 because I'm on
see the
side
bottom
view.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Oh.
go.
There you go. That's better. Okay, so you can see his wages did go up, which is because he had a step increase.
Yeah.
The training line, he's taken that out. The internet service has gone down because he just said he was taking out the broadband. The office supplies, he's wiped that out. The software license, that's the big one. So that went up to 98,029, the
Mhm.
software licenses. The equipment line has gone up, what is that, 2,500. And
Well,
then
yeah,
the
it's gone up
maintenance line went
2,500.
way down.
Yeah, it's going up 2,500, but the 1,000 that was in office supplies, I'm combining with the
The
equipment.
maintenance. All right. So
Okay.
Caesar, let me ask you a question. What about the last line, the maintenance line? And why did it go from 37,500 to 1,000?
So I think that maintenance line is what Charlie specifically designated as the soft rate line based off of those numbers.
All right, so you
And I
put
combine
that
them into this,
the
I combine them
software.
into the software licensing and maintenance line, which is now line 10 on
Okay,
my budget sheet.
so
And I
that
made
makes
that
more
maintenance
sense.
line, which is the professional services maintenance.
All right, that makes more sense.
Does. So on line 10, the 52.8, so let me just make sure we're all understanding. The 52.8 increasing to 98,029 is really a consolidation of that 37.5. Is that what's
Yeah,
happening?
it's this right here. This line 11 on this sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is what he was allocating towards that, and maybe $500 of something else. But that's, I think, what he was allocating towards
Okay.
that
And
line.
you're bringing that
maintenance.
down to
This
1,000.
is a call, so I'll be there in the morning.
So that professional services line 26 on this sheet, is what maintenance would be on that one, which is 1,000.
Okay.
So this is what I would use the maintenance for if I needed maintenance done on, a physical server appliance or something.
Yeah.
I would take it out of that.
So the increase to your licenses line is really the consolidation of these two budget lines. It's not an increase in your license costs or your user base, right?
No, it is an increase. It's an increase in total of $4,079.
Yeah. It's not.
After
It's
that,
not a $50,000 increase.
correct.
which
It's
would
not
look like.
$50,000 of increases. It's just a consolidation, and then the $4,000 increase in total is a combination of increased user licensing and or contractual, increases that we're obligated to, put towards.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Questions from the committee? Michael, do you see anything?
No, I understand what he's done and it looks okay. Looks all right. Well, one concern I have is the maintenance line being at 1,000. I'm just concerned that might be a little bit low.
Everything
Except he's still
between
got the
equipment and
money.
supplies and professional services is it's all well under what
Yeah.
it should be.
Okay. Right.
But like I said, I level
right.
funded where I could. I mean, or where I had to, and only increased what I had to.
Right, but I assume that's not like hardware parts. That's
No.
like calling support, have them come in, fix something. That
Correct.
type of
So
thing.
if I need an additional set of eyes or a hand with something,
Yeah.
I have $1,000 to pull from. I can tell you right now that it is $160 an hour
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
for
easy.
one of the primary people we work with.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I know the numbers are up there. I was just concerned that might not be enough.
At that rate, I'm almost getting a little over 6 hours roughly
Yeah.
of help.
Right.
365 days a year.
Yeah, it's just a few hours. It's not much. You might need to add a little bit of something to that just in case. I mean, what are you averaging for assistance on an average year?
I try to avoid it at all cost.
Well, I get that, but I mean,
It's either I mean, at this rate, we either don't, we do it and the department pays for it. That's, where the issue is
You bill it
located.
out. Sure.
Or we take it out of that $1,000 and we have them do the bare minimum.
yeah. But in the past, how many hours of support have you used? Is what I'm trying to get at. Like 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours.
I can give you, I mean, for the
Just
support
rough.
that we pay for I couldn't tell you for the
Just ballpark.
firewalls, for the
Yeah.
firewalls we have that we pay for support for. I
Yeah.
was on the phone with them for almost 3 hours trying to
Oh,
figure out how
yeah.
to get the fiber figured out.
Right.
Luckily, we already paid
Right.
for it,
Right. Yes. Right.
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 But
That's a little bit different.
I would say that I don't think I've gone over unless it was ordered or requested outside of me.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're looking at a 2.7% increase. I mean, I think for
Yeah.
the way everything
And
else is going up, this
and
is about
that's-
as bare bones as you
And
can get.
that's, yeah, I mean, and then the printer copier contracts, again, I'm recommending we lease. If we lease, at the each copier is $2,000. If we lease each one at the end of that 3 years, we end up putting in $2,196. So for an extra $196, we're guaranteeing that machine be replaced after 3 years.
Sure.
It seems like a fair deal to me. And
Yeah.
it's just, I didn't want to not recommend it long-term, thinking long-term. So if you guys feel like that should be allocated towards the professional services and we still take it out of capital planning, that's, you guys can move it around how you guys see fit, but
I don't think that anyone thought we should be buying copier and printers have like 0 shelf life. So to lease them the way we're leasing them, that means that we'll have the opportunity to upgrade them without having to junk.
well,
a
I mean, I
piece of
think it also
equipment that we
opens up opportunities for other projects to be funded by it, as opposed to us spending $6,000 every 5, 6, 10
bought.
years.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever our recommendation. Yes, we agree. We should be leasing those
Mm.
machines.
So, I mean, if you guys have any questions in terms of where certain increases are, what certain increases are for specifically?
Well, we've been through this budget a couple of times. Committee, have any questions on the individual line items?
I think Sandy has a question.
Sandy?
I have a question on the leasing of the copy machine. So is it a 1-year lease, Caesar?
It's a 3-year lease with annual payments.
We can't commit to a 3-year lease
In
and
the operating
only
budget.
allocate money for 1 year. We can't allocate money for the future years. I will bring it to our town administrator and ask him. Other towns do lease vehicles, but I think we have to commit the money up front because we won't necessarily have the money if the next year they decide not, the town meeting decides not to
Spend it.
spend it.
I mean,
So-
and that I understand, but at the same time, we're also, I mean, we pretty much lease our licensing too for everything that's cloud-based. It's the same concept.
That's licensing, and that's a per year, right?
Yeah.
Right, it's a licensing and it's per year. But this isn't licensing.
It's a
this is
multi-year, it's a
leasing.
multi-year commitment.
Right, we're committing to 3 years. There is a way to do it. I'm not, the town of Halifax has never done it. Right now, he's asking for $6,000 for 3 machines, which comes to 2,000 each machine.
But it got lowered.
Right,
From a
because you
2500.
got lowered. But it's the same quality machine, right, Cecil?
The same machine.
So, so that's $2,000 per machine. If we get 4 years out of it, that's $500 a year. This is $1,500, which is $500 the year for 3 machines. I don't know. I have my doubts about leasing, but I certainly will look into it. I just,
Could you come back with some advice next week then, Sandy? I mean,
Sure.
from where I was coming at it is the salvage costs on these, on this kind of equipment is usually like zero.
Yeah.
Because it obsolesces so quickly. So
Mhm.
leasing it in order to have our people having current machines was kind of my thinking on it, but I hear what you're saying about a 3-year commitment, we're gonna have to budget for it.
Right.
Sandy, if we do need to commit to it, could we commit the full lease term to a capital article and spend and lease it out of that article?
Possibly. But then, I mean, I'd have to know what the advantage is, Caesar. So if it's a 3-year lease and it's $4,500 for 3 years, right? That's
But
what you're
this is
telling me?
this is only covering highway and library because I can't fund water department stuff. That would come, the water department will come out of theirs.
All right. So it's actually more than that.
It would just be
$500 per machine.
it's $732 per year per machine. And so this technically comes out to 1460 something. I think it's 1464. To be
Right.
exact.
I'm not
I just rounded it up.
caught up on the 15 to 14. But what I'm saying is, what's the advantage? So if these break down after 3 years and we have to purchase new ones,
It's not if they break
there's
down
the
at the end of it.
advantage.
At the end of 3 years, we're just getting a new one.
Right, and we have to sign another lease agreement.
Yep.
For the for more money, just the
Well,
same as if we
but
wanted to buy it, we would be buying a more expensive machine.
Yes
I'm
and
not
no. I mean,
seeing
the
advantage.
leasing price is through the state contract. It's not, just like the purchase price, the lease price is also through state contract, which usually lasts longer than 3 years. State contracts run between 5 and 10 years. So if you're talking about an increase, you're talking an increase of maybe $20 for a comparable machine once it gets replaced, if that.
Mhm.
And the printers are expensive to
I will
fix
look
and
into it.
expensive to
I
repair.
don't see the advantage to it, but I will look into it.
What's the warranty on a purchased machine, Caesar?
We own it. If we buy it, we own it. And that means if it breaks down, if
We're
we go
responsible.
can't fix it, then it's just we have to buy a new machine.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
so you're saying we're buying machines that have no warranties on them? No.
The copy machines at town hall have warranties.
They
Sure
do
they
have
do.
a warranty.
They
And
have
they have
maintenance.
It's gotta be a
supplies
warranty on the
and
machines, and that's credible, because the idea here is if you're, I think warranties are a material consideration, because because Sandy's trying to figure out which way it's a push. And
I can tell you that for the
yeah,
I can tell you for the town hall copiers that we bought in over 3 years ago, because their 3 years ended last year. It was a 3-year warranty. The 3-year
Okay.
warranty
But there was a 3-year
ended.
warranty.
Okay.
Correct. I don't know because of this model. If there is one, I don't believe there is. I will check.
Well, it should
But-
be warranty.
We shouldn't be buying equipment. We shouldn't be buying new
Yeah,
equipment without a
warranties.
warranty. So I can
Yeah,
see
the
where
maintenance
Sandy's
contract.
beginning to convince me it is a push. If we've got a warranty for 3 years, and the lease price costs more than the purchase price, then purchasing it through capital makes more sense.
Well, many times when you purchase like a copier, you might get a 3-year warranty, but the warranty is phased. So first year,
yeah.
it's like anything that goes wrong, we'll fix it. Second
Right,
year, it's,
second year,
well, we'll
it's-
fix this much and you pay for
Yeah.
this much.
The tone of
And-
drum,
and so
and
on.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
right, exactly. So it starts to fade out as you get down the 3 years.
Sure.
With the lease, it doesn't matter what happens to it. It catches on fire, it blows up, they replace it.
Yes.
That might be
I-
good for a highway department, huh?
Professionally, from someone who has to, from someone who has to, who's responsible for, repairing them at the base level, or at least getting someone to fix printers around this town. Leasing is the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 years, we're guaranteed a replacement. We just have to re-sign another. We have to re-sign another lease for another 3 years, and at the end of that 3-year term, we get a new machine. Or we can spend $6,000 now at a capital. We take it. We pay. We have the maintenance costs on it. So yes, Rico will come out and they will fix it. They will do what they can. They'll replace parts because all that's included. But I'm gonna imagine that if the machine, for whatever reason, just doesn't work because of any part, the part they put in, it's just something wrong with the machine. We own it. We bought it outright. Whereas if
it's under warranty, Caesar, it's under warranty. So I mean, this comes down to a lease versus buy analysis.
Well, I don't know if it's under warranty. I'm not going to say it is because I don't know if I do not believe these ones are if we buy them outright. I can tell you the town hall ones were because that's
Warranty.
that was part of the state
Well,
contract.
we can't make a decision until we know. So we should get the facts and then decide whether it's a warranty and a purchase. And Sandy has added the other complication that it looks like it would be a $4,500 commitment in this budget, not a $1,500 because we'd have to commit to the entire lease period.
And I wouldn't put it in his budget. I think it still should be a capital expense, even if it is a lease, even
Because
if
it's
it's
multi-year.
leased.
Okay.
I would take it completely out of his budget and put it as a capital expense.
Okay.
And then
Because
if we were to lease it, that capital account would just be open for the duration
We
of that
drawn
lease.
down. Yeah. Yeah. We draw it because that's a multi-year.
right,
Yeah.
I
So it
did
actually
ask-
helps the operating budget if we still move it over there as a 3-year $4,500 capital expense.
I can find out the warranty information tomorrow and send you guys an email.
Okay.
That's something I can very easily ask my account manager. I just know that explicitly the word warranty was used for the larger copy machines that we got. These are desktop model. They're smaller and they're not like the company's best seller on the state contract. Because Rico is pretty much they sell the larger machines, like we have at town hall, the ones we have at COA and police, etc. All those are under warranty for 3 years.
I think we would want something that would be under warranty, Caesar.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you brought this price down, but we did have the money in the capital budget to purchase more expensive machines that you had originally told us about. So I would like you to make sure that if we were going to purchase it, it would be something that we had a warranty on.
Warranty. And you can't buy a machine at Best Buy without a warranty. Yes, you can extend it, but at least there's a basic warranty on it. It sounds like in either instance, it doesn't belong in the operating budget. It is a capital expense because it's a 3-year horizon either way, whether it's a 3-year lease or it's a 3-year amortization of the capital equipment, it still belongs on the capital side. Which just takes it out. I mean, it improves your budget Caesar, and that,
Yeah, no,
we just cut your increase in half.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. So without line 31, we'll just go with the simple fact that this is not going to be here. With that being said, this is going to be the total increase to my operating budget without my wages.
Okay. Thanks. Should we look at other capital items that you had, Caesar?
The network refresh and upgrades for police and fire, we can take that out. I guess it is my understanding that the Board of Selectmen had already previously approved. I just didn't know if that was true, but I got that confirmed by the chairman that 25,000 was approved out of ARPA for that project.
Oh,
So
no one told
we-
me.
yeah,
Be good.
I asked and that's what I was told. So I don't know what meeting it was. I can ask. I don't know if Ashley's on, maybe she knows. But I do know that when we first talked about it, they did, I guess, pre-approve a set amount pending what was available. And I believe it was that same meeting. So we don't need to have that requested anymore. So the only one we really need the network refresh and upgrades at is the library and water departments. The library, when I say water department, they're really just getting upgrade, like very minimal upgrades totaling to a value of like $2,500. It's just to extend network accessibility off to the pump houses. That's all we're doing there. Their networking equipment was upgraded with the town network refresh back in 2018 when we did that at Capitol. So the actual department headquarters is updated. I'm just upgrading their availability of network access to the pump houses. And the library has just recently been under the town's network scope. So I do need to get equipment so I can add them in and they can start using resources like all the other facilities.
So that would be 9,900 for that. Is that right? I'm doing it in my head, so.
Well, the total equipment, this is for both library and water. So, I mean, I can actually bring up the, I can bring up
I have it in
the,
front of me because I printed it out, Caesar. So you had 12,400 for library water. You just said only 2,500 of it was for water.
oh, roughly, yeah, roughly of it.
So then it would be 9,900 you would need for the library. So
Pretty much, yeah.
9,900 out of free cash. And 2,500 out of water retained earnings. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can, I'm just trying to bring up the, I want to give you an exact number. I don't want to give you just like rough estimates. Where's that sheet that is due? Can you guys see that screen?
Mhm. Yes,
The one that says capital project summary?
yes.
Okay. Essentially, the only items that are for water are 3 of these. So that would be, the library would need 2 of the access points, and then 2 of these. These 2 network connection devices are for the water department. So 3 access points and 2 of the network connection devices are for water department. Everything else is library.
Who did the configurations for us? Caesar, did you do these or did you have outside help or?
Configurations of,
Like how many access points we need and
we're just replacing, so we're adding,
so we're replacing a distance. Okay.
yeah, we're pretty much replacing existing. That's all we're doing. Because I was going to say we don't have access points, but we have routers at each of the buildings.
So we're swapping them out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, should we go through the,
Tom, I was just gonna mention to you, I think Jean
John.
had her hand up for a question.
yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Jane, I've been meaning to,
Oh, no
Acknowledge you.
problem. I just wanted to comment on the copy machine, and I appreciate, Sandy's knowledge on all of the leasing and things like that, but I am really struggling with ink here for not only my public copy machine, but also for my staff copy machine. And there's not a lot of, I guess post-COVID, there's not a lot of choices on what copy machine to buy, and they all cost, the ink is really costing. I'm probably close, I usually spend, maybe a little over, a little less than $1,000 on ink, and I am just like way over that this year. I'm being creative as much as I can. We haven't printed as much as we can. Well, it hasn't really been a problem because we haven't been as busy as, before COVID hit, but I am getting busy. And so the reason why I like the idea of leasing is because of the ink, and they supply the ink. And and Caesar, you can answer because I've asked you 100 times. If I have to, make a certain number of copies, but I don't think that I would have trouble with hitting that mark between the way that the library copies things and our calendars and all that stuff. And then, and then all the patron printing, and we're getting increasingly busier and busier with the copy money. And right now for my public machine, it costs 19 cents to make a copy, and I charge 10, and I hate to go up. So that's all I want to say about the copy.
well, no, thanks for raising it, Jean, because it's material. This, Sandy's trying to understand this $500 difference, but if I understand what we're saying here, in the lease arrangement, they are supplying all the ink that you need. Is that?
Yes,
so
that's my understanding.
Actually, no, there are two separate things. So you have a maintenance agreement, and then you have really the only benefit of the lease is you're spreading out the capital expense that you would normally pay up front over the course of 3 years with very minimal interest. And then you're also guaranteeing a replacement machine at the end of that lease. At that point, you can choose to get the new machine and purchase it outright. You can re-sign the lease. You can whatever.
That's traditional. So I'm really just trying to parse.
So the maintenance
about ink.
Yep. The maintenance contract is what is the cost per copy. That is that maintenance cost. So if they do like 10 color pages and 5 black and white pages, it's like 0.0026 or something like that for black and white, and then 0.042. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but whatever, for every number of copies that they make, that's their maintenance contract, and whatever that is, it would cover the toner and actual parts and labor for the machine. So pretty much they're paying for what they use.
Right, and
Essentially,
that is usually available on the purchases too, because that's what we got at.
correct.
Sure.
That's not, that would stay the same if we purchased it or leased it.
Right. So there's no change to the constraint that Jean's under right now.
Correct.
Okay.
That issue would be solved irregardless.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And why is that? Because you're buying it under a state contract or something, and I'm buying it from Mason?
Well, they're different. So these machines are not like the printers we would normally get through HP. Those are printers that any office would only buy. These Ricoh is a printer manufacturer and service company. So you buy a Brother printer or an HP printer, you're just buying it. You can obviously lease it through a reseller, or at least at like Best Buy or something. But Rico, it's just the machines are a little more industrialized, I guess is the best way I can say it. They're beefier. They can handle a lot more of a workload over a shorter and longer amount of time. Versus, the printers that we normally buy for offices, which are not, they're not very good for your use cases.
Can we,
Okay.
any other questions on these? We go back to the budget and the capital screen, Caesar?
Sure.
I cannot do
So, and I did also want to add on the printer copy upgrade, Sandy, sorry. There was two costs. There was an equipment cost and a licensing / maintenance cost that I gave you for that. And it was like $1,200 or something of that nature. That, after some thought, what the departments are currently paying for in toner and supplies for their current machines is already more than enough from what I've estimated their supply and maintenance costs for these. So I would also say take that out, and whatever they're budgeting for supplies and maintenance this year would just be substituted for that.
All right, Caesar, I think we need to talk. Maybe tomorrow you can come into my office and we can just spell this all out. All right, because I'm starting to get confused now.
Yeah, I was
right.
just looking at line 45 and line 31 seem to be redundant.
And they are. So
They are.
Purchase and one's
Okay, so
for
it's an
lease.
either or, right? It's one or the other. It's not both.
Correct.
So Caesar, if we could sit down together and talk it all through, that would really help me. And then I'll bring it back to the finance on Monday, next Monday. Is that good with you? If not tomorrow, anytime this week.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
Um,
You want to talk a little bit about the cameras?
Please.
Sure. There are three options that the finance committee has. I was told to present the three, so that way, I guess it was to help the capital planning committee be able to prioritize the project. Essentially, you can get all 56 cameras, which would cover all police, interior, exterior, all current interior and exterior cameras, and all of the new cameras that we are anticipating on adding to the facilities that don't have them already. So those are those costs. Then
Did Chief ask for, I thought he just wanted inside cameras. Was I
the chief
wrong?
asked for cell cameras. Those are cell cameras that have
Separate
very
article.
specific, yeah.
Right, it's a separate article. Tom.
Oh, it's a separate article. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are specifically for the jail cells. They have certain like ligature mandates they have to make meet. And then line 40 is the same project but without the police cameras, and it just includes upgrading the existing interior and exterior cameras and adding where we're wanting to add them. And then the line 41 is simply just adding only the new and leaving everything else as is.
Caesar, what's the installation cost on there? How come those wouldn't go down with the decrease in the cameras?
Because the installation cost, the installation of these cameras is very simple. It's just swap them out in most of the in almost all of them. And it can be done internally. The installation cost of $15,000 is specific to the new ones.
The new ones.
I'll take an incident number, please.
I know we're going to get asked about the bidding process on this stuff. We got asked last year. So can I ask here, where are we on obtaining, have we obtained bids on the cameras and the installation and all that?
I have not obtained bids. I've reached out to several vendors. I have to talk to Ed because this is currently this would be an extension to the system we currently have.
Mm-hmm.
If I went out for bid and had to go with the lowest price, then it'd be not solving one of the primary reasons we're trying to do all of them, and that's to centralize it to what we are currently, which we wouldn't be upgrading. Like when I say we replace all of them, there are cameras that we currently have that are still fairly new that are on this new system. So if I were to do a full bid for all of them, I'd have to include the ones that we just recently installed, like as of this year or last year.
Well, I mean, you're writing the RFP, so I'm not sure why you'd have to do that. But you do have $15,000 in professional services and installation fees here, right? That that there will be an inquiry about whether that was put out to bid or not. And there's no requirement that putting something out to bid means you go with the lowest bidder. It just, we have to show a transparent process for pricing these things.
Right.
So
Right, and if it's a specific system, Caesar, you put that in the RFP so that they have to be able to supply for that specific system. Ed should be up on all the procurement laws. So if
And
you
it
talk with him.
is
Yeah.
my intention to speak with them. It is. The system we have is proprietary. It's not something that you can mix match
Oh, there you
cameras
go.
with. So
Yeah, I thought there was an exemption if you're expanding on a currently owned system.
that was my thought, and that's why I
Yeah,
wanted to talk to
Yeah,
Ed.
I believe there is an exemption for that. You don't have to bid it because it's adding on, and especially in these cases, none of these are compatible.
if Ed could just confirm that,
Yeah.
I still wonder where the 15,000.
The $15,000 is what I'm expecting to spend in installation and miscellaneous material. That's what the miscellaneous is for. For the addition of the cameras to the highway barn, the library, the town hall, and the water department of Hope's Tavern.
Yes, that part I understand, right? It's where the 15,000 number came from. My expectation based on last year's is that the inquiry will be on that 15,000. Somebody's digging in. Was there a bidding process around that service contract? So if we can claim exemption on that, we're still spending 15,000 for services that usually require some sort of bidding process. I get that the camera ad might be, we're stuck with that camera at that price because it's an add-on to an existing system. But labor costs are negotiable. So that's where I just want to make sure we've got the right answers for the citizens who ask us these kinds of questions at the town meeting.
And I get that. What I'm saying is $15,000 is not just labor.
Okay. Well,
it's $15,000 is yeah, and I can tell you that the amount of labor that I believe right now is a little over $5,000 that's all it is out of that. And as far as I'm concerned, by procurement law, I was not aware I had to go out for bid for that. And I can get other companies to propose.
I just want the right
you
answer.
may not have to go out to bid, but you should be showing your where you've gotten your prices.
Right.
And a little better breakdown. Maybe of some
if it's
of
only
the things. If the installation,
then
if it's labor plus some parts to do the installation, break it out a little separately so that we understand that it's not 15,000 to just install them, but it's 5,000 plus we need some parts plus we need some other thing.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, we're just trying to get ourselves into a position to be able to advocate for you. Cesar,
No,
that we understand the numbers.
And I get it. And like I said, I hope that it goes. I hope it's understood that I have no problem getting that information and outlining it a certain way. That's not an issue.
Okay.
But I hope it doesn't go. I hope it doesn't go forgotten that I am trying the best I can here as one person.
Okay.
With no help.
Understand that, but if we go in and the town votes it down because they don't understand the numbers and we can't explain them, then whatever effort you have put into this is all for naught.
No, I get that.
Break that down would be helpful.
Of course, I have no problem doing that. As breaking out as best as I can. I don't think it's wrong to do that. I just as long as there's a general understanding that I will try the best I can to get it to you. while
Yeah,
handling everything else.
That's fine. And we'll do the best thing we can to advocate for you with whatever numbers that we have.
Awesome. So is there anything else?
I think we're good. Anyone else, any other questions for Caesar?
Nope.
Okay, so a couple more adjustments to make, and then I think we're going to be able to nail this budget down. That's great. Okay, thank you, Caesar. That was really helpful. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
So next item on the agenda was just general discussion of where we are on the budget. I saw that Sandy put all the articles in, and we've got the line by line where we're gonna wind up. I see that 3 hours before the meeting, we got a new budget from Silver Lake, but we still don't have an elementary school budget. So we're still outstanding on that.
All right. I have
Did we
not
get
been
one?
told there will be any change on the elementary school budget.
So we're
What's
still
in
working
there
out
now
the
is-
January.
it's-
So the January 4th budget is what we
That's
should
the
rely
version
on.
2, yes.
Okay.
I think the one that I had up, that's the version 2. That was the one where we brought the special needs tuition down by 163,000.
Mhm.
And that's
So
the one, that's,
So the budget that was posted on January 4th.
I believe so. I don't have the date, but I believe
Okay,
so.
that's the one that's in OneDrive now. When I attended school committee 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
they committed to revising the budget and to posting sort of best and final
All right,
for us.
because I don't think it's the January 4th one. I think that it is a newer one, but I do believe I have that shown on the FinCom budget sheet. So we
Oh.
have a elementary school cost of $6,890. And that did go down about 44,000.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry.
I just didn't put a date on it, so.
Okay, well, I was looking at the date that it was uploaded. As the date. Okay.
Maybe I didn't upload the new. That might
Okay,
be-
that's
that
maybe
might
that's
be-
what I was, if you could just check and see.
I will. Yeah,
Okay.
I will. I updated it on the sheet, but I probably didn't send you the new budget, which I will. do.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other updates you can give us on the budget? I mean, I think we're getting down to the wire here. We've voted everything that was level funded.
So last week you asked me to update all the wage lines to
Mhm.
include the 1% for the FY '22. I did go through that. What I did want to touch base with on tonight, I've sent you a local receipts comparison. That's in the OneDrive, to show you where we are compared to last year.
Mhm.
I've gone through the local receipts and spoken with Gordon. And I am actually increasing the local receipts. Originally, I was going to increase it by 150 for the excise tax. I went through a few other lines, and I do feel comfortable to increase it another 100,000. Now,
Good
if
news.
we do that, if we lower the police budget by the lieutenant, which was
Mhm.
92,700,
Mhm.
and if the health insurance is able to be lowered by the 30,000, but then we have to consider the SRO for the middle school, that's 36,000, and that usually comes out of raise and appropriate, not out of capital.
Mhm.
It brings us about 42,000 in the black. So if you would like, let me try sharing my screen.
So by comparison, that is, by being 42 in the black, we should compare that to the 300,000 that we had in reserve last year.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're not close to 300,000,
That's
obviously.
for sure. Right.
Right. So, all right, it's 44,000, you see, right here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go to the revenues page and just show you. So we went up 150,000 more on the motor
Excess.
vehicle excise. And that is supported, if you look, our actual for FY '21 was 1.2, almost 1.3 million. And we're doing well in the motor vehicle excise collections. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm going up 20,000 on the meals tax. I had only put in 80,000, not knowing where COVID was going to be, but last year we did 89,000. This year we're doing much better. We've already, just with 2 receipts, we get in 4 receipts a year. With 2, we're already at 60,000. So I'm comfortable going up to 20,000. Other service charges. This is our ambulance. So for 2 years in a row, we have brought in 600,000 or more, over 600,000. So I'm comfortable with bringing that up to 50. And then our Medicaid reimbursement. I was estimating low on that because that was a little unpredictable, but has been getting more predictable. So I'm bringing that up 30,000.
Could I ask you about that? Is that a COVID blip?
I do not believe so. I do not believe so. Basically, the school applies for it for each of the towns, and we've been getting it in. They let us know how much. I have like a 17-year run of local receipts and just trying to keep track. I was burned one year. I got $8,000 in that line. So I've been very reluctant to go up, but last year was up. And so far this year, we're doing well. So I'm comfortable with the 65,000 on that.
Okay.
So that's increasing our local receipts by 250,000. And on the synopsis page, that is, I can get up there. I added it in here. So it brings our revenues up 250,000, which helps our bottom line. We've always been very conservative on our estimated receipts. It was pointed out by one of the unions that we've gone well over our estimated receipts for the last 5 years. So I think that we are fine increasing them by that amount.
Okay.
So that's, I will point that out. Then if you would like, we could either go line by line and make some votes on some of the lines that went up, or we can look at the articles and you can vote some of the articles tonight.
Any preference to the committee? I think how do we make more progress? By voting articles?
Both things have to go in the town meeting warrant. So the articles, we can go through one at a time, or the budget. If we don't do the budget tonight, we have to do it on the 28th.
Yeah, what I propose is that since we did budget, we've been doing budget so far, why don't we continue with that and just see if we can get the budget nailed down as much as possible by reviewing the items there.
So
any objections, committee?
No.
Okay. Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, what you'll see here, I have now increased all the wage lines by the 1%. So I'm sitting here hovering over the selectman clerical. I put in the note of what it was originally and what the new amount is. All right.
Yeah.
So we can start.
Excuse me. Yep. How many clerical do the selectmen have?
2.
Not bad.
The selectman assistant. And then they have a selectman secretary.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Point though, Cheryl.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Right. The selectman assistant is on the same grade as the assistant town accountant. So you can see this is what our assistant town accountant is at. She's fairly new, so she's not very high in her steps. Our selectman assistant is at a grade 6. at step 6, I'm sorry, grade 7, step 6. So that's one of the reasons why that's a little higher.
So for us to make progress this evening, we should really vote the ones that have the little red dots on them, I suspect, which are the ones where you've just raised the
Right.
you've just raised the budget by
Yep,
the
they're
by
all
the
shaded
1%.
blue.
Okay.
They're all shaded in blue. You can do it as a group if you want to. Yeah,
Could I
all the blue ones are the wages.
okay. Could I make a motion or could I ask for a motion to for us to take a vote on all budget line items that have been increased just by the 1% agreed wage increase for fiscal 23?
So moved.
A second? Do I hear a second there somewhere?
Second,
Thank you. So a roll call vote. Cheryl,
yes.
Michael,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
I saw Todd there and just want to make sure he's still there. I can't see him on my screen, but Todd?
I'm here. Yep. Yes.
Yes. And myself, Tom, is a yes. So yes, let's, that motion carries. All in favor. Thank you. That was painless. So now, Sandy, so now what we're left with really are items
Items that have gone up and
like
contract
the school
items.
budget and contract
the-
items.
Yep.
Okay.
So the town administrator salary at 125, that was what Charlie's contract was at. The police chief and the fire chief are both contract. And then there's the union wage lines. So
And can the chiefs, since their contract, shouldn't we just vote to accept the contracts?
I think we have to.
Yeah.
right, so yeah,
One at a time, or is there a way to do this?
you could just group it, do the town administrator line, the police chief and the fire chief line all together.
Town administrator, should we keep that open? Is that a cap? I know we're recruiting right now, so is that a cap
Right.
that might be subject to change?
That would be a selectman. But even if you voted to recommend it tonight, you can always rescind it and vote a new number after
Got it.
that.
Okay. So could I ask for a motion to accept the recommendations for the 3 contract positions of town administrator, police chief, and fire chief?
Second, so
So-
moved.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. A roll call vote then. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and myself, Tom, is a yes, so that carries.
Good.
Thank you, Sandy. Okay, by elimination here, we're getting down to what should be next?
Can you scroll your screen, Sandy, so they can see everything there you've done?
All right, so we're gonna wait on Caesar's line,
Yeah,
the IT expense. Okay.
yeah,
Me-
looks like money will
me.
shift there a little bit, so we should
Right.
wait on that.
All right, so last week you talked to Holly Mary regarding the assessor's expense. It was
Correct.
mainly the maps, which was a contract
Mhm.
item. So you could vote that.
Yeah, I think we should vote to recommend. We have there's no real recourse on that one, so, of course, everyone is welcome to vote, either way, but I think if I could ask for a vote on recommending the assessor's expense line, which is really just going up by the maps, license increase this year.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, a roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. That one carries.
And down to the treasurer, banking and payroll expense, which Linda did talk about last week, sorry. That
Seems like a
has
year
gone
ago.
up- I know, has gone up $100. And again, that is a service that we purchased and he hadn't gone up for years and he's gone up $100.
Okay, seems reasonable in the current state of things. Could I ask for a motion to accept the, to recommend that we accept our budget for treasurer, banking and payroll expense?
So moved.
So moved. Up second.
Good, and a roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself as a yes. So that one carries. Registrar, did we vote that yet? We need to.
So
Yeah,
that's-
elections are.
For elections?
So
Right.
that one is one of the blue ones. Did have wages in it. But it probably wouldn't hurt to vote that one separate because a lot of it is not
Is
due to
due to the
wages.
election, right?
Yeah.
So that is, the numbers are consistent with the prior year. Last year, we didn't have an election, so it went down dramatically, but we've got an election coming up. So could I ask for a motion to recommend that we accept the election and registrar voters budget for fiscal 23?
So moved.
Second.
Second? Thank you. Roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself as a yes. So that one carries.
Okay.
Wages. Regulatory.
And I think that's, we have town building wages. So there are union wages in this.
The contract.
Right. So Scott's was wage and personnel that got approved.
Yeah.
Again, they are current on their FY22 increase. If you vote this number, then any increase, it's actually gone down, but
Gone down.
any increase that if they get a contract, if they do negotiate a contract with the selectmen, the increase would be voted in an article.
Okay.
So this is basically what he expects for this year. I don't know if you want to vote that or you want to wait and talk to him about it, or
Is that the contract is done, or the contract
So-
may not be done in time?
their FY22 is done. I do
Yeah.
not know where the selectmen are on negotiating for FY23.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to vote, because this is the base, and anything they do vote for FY23 would go.
Would be an
up.
article. Oh,
Right, would be
so
an
it sounds like
article.
no
It
harm, no
wouldn't
foul in
change
voting.
this. Right.
Okay. All right. So then could I ask for a vote, could I ask for a vote to accept the current budget for fiscal 23 for the town buildings wages?
So moved.
Second.
Great. And a roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself as a yes. That one carries.
Oh,
Oh, careful.
yeah, I know.
Mhm.
It's bad. Like I said, not used to not having my mouse, but all right. Now we're down into the police budget. We voted the police chief. So the police wages, this figure includes the 92,700 for
So
for
we
the
need to take-
lieutenant.
For the lieutenant, right?
Right. So if you wanted to take that out,
Good idea.
let's see. It would be 1,240,765.
About as close to flat as we could get it. So
Right.
how would we prepare a vote on that? Should we take it out? Should we ask chief to submit a new budget? How does that work?
Now you can just vote to recommend it at the number she just gave you, if that is what you want to do. You can vote to make a recommendation at 1,247,665, and you can just do it that way.
Okay. Could I ask for a vote then to accept the police wages budget at, repeat that number, 1,247,000.
1,240,765.
That would be the
So
that would
moved.
be the vote. Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay, a roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Okay, that one carries. That's a 1% increase in his budget. Okay, that one was blue.
Yeah. All right, now we did the fire chief's salary. So the fire wages are similar to, because they're a union wage, this is the amount he needs to cover his steps. And if there's any kind of an increase with a contract negotiation, that will happen in a separate article. So that one would be ready to be voted.
You're referring to line 52 or 53?
53.
Oh,
52
Line
is
53.
wage and personnel, and that one's already been taken care of. So line
Okay.
50.
Got it. Okay. So could I ask for a vote to accept the line 53 fire wages for at 1,080,624?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, a roll call vote for fire wages. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So that one carries.
Okay. Fire training, that went up as well. It went up minimally, and most of the fire training is wages. So I would assume that's just step increases. I
Well,
don't
it's
think it's anything more than that.
collateral effect of step increases on a
Right.
basically flat training budget.
Yes,
Right.
Okay. The merits of a flat training budget aside, for our firemen, could I ask for a vote to accept line 54, our fire training budget for fiscal 23 as written?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Second.
Stereo.
Yeah.
Call vote. Cheryl
Yes.
and Michael,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So that one carries. Thank you.
then we come down to the medical supplies line. He's gone up 3,500. And again, that's for oxygen and supplies for the ambulances.
Yeah, I think Chief made a persuasive case for this last week when he spoke to us. So could I ask for a vote to recommend that we accept this line item 58 for medical supplies for the fire department?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Cheryl
Yes.
and Michael,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes.
Okay, let's see. Building inspector's wages was taken care of. Is Jim Perry still on? Does anyone know?
I didn't see him on because I did have a note to ask him about the assistant building inspector
He
question.
was on earlier.
Was he?
Yeah, I did see him on
see
it.
him. I didn't need to
Yeah,
ask him.
it looks like he's dropped in the meantime.
So I know that he's going to discuss it tomorrow night at the selectmen's meeting. The fact that he's not funding the assistant building inspector wages and putting it into his expense account. So you might want to hold off on that, on the assistant building inspector and on the building inspector expenses until, just in case the selectmen aren't in favor of that.
Yeah. No, I would agree. So for benefit of the committee, if everyone doesn't have the story. So the building inspector's assistant building inspector's wage expense, you'll see it's gone to 0, and that's been moved into the building inspector's expense line. So let's have him discuss that with selectmen, make sure he's comfortable with that. Basically, this eliminates coverage for the building inspector when he's unavailable. And puts that into an expense line. Maybe he's doing a contractor thing or something like that with it, but I would agree that we hold off on that one unless there's an objection.
Okay.
All
Failure
right.
of weights and measures, that salary line was supposed to go up 1%, and I seem to have missed it. So I'm going
Got
to
it.
just stick it in here.
And we voted it already.
And then we can, yeah. Okay. And that one will be all right.
Wait, no, that
Sandy, I think you got something weird in there.
someone wrong
Yeah, I
there.
guess I do.
Yeah.
What happened?
So it's one line down, and I think you,
Oh.
so 80, the 81, let's fix this.
Mhm. Let's see.
So 2716 times
2716
1.01.
times. Yeah,
0.01. There you go.
there you go. Much
Perfect.
better.
Okay, so that
He
one,
gets
that
two.
one we voted already. You
Yeah,
can
right.
move that in.
Right.
It's a blue.
Yep, good. Okay. Animal control officer salary. Now that's usually, again, it looks like I did put it, no, that's gone up.
It's gone up.
Yeah, more than the 1%. I'm not sure
Yep.
why. Is Chief Sharps on? Okay, then maybe we should hold off on that
I believe,
line.
Sandy, I believe that's
Oh.
a step increase on her.
All right,
I'm pretty sure
but it's
because,
not blue. So if it's all right with you, I'm gonna wait until next week so I
Yeah.
can make sure I put that 1% in there for her.
that's fine.
All right. I'll double check that. And then the animal control officer expense line went down $16. So you can vote on that one.
Sure. So can I ask for a motion to accept the animal control officer's expense line for fiscal 23?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
Okay, and a roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
yep,
John,
Yep.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Thank you. That one carries.
The dispatch services, it has gone up $37,000. Again, it's a contractual thing.
Yeah.
We don't have control over.
Right. So a motion to accept the dispatch services budget at the significant increase of, to $200,000 for fiscal 23.
So moved.
second,
Okay, and a roll call vote. Cheryl,
yes,
Michael,
Yes.
John,
Yep.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes.
Okay. Elementary school costs. And the special needs tuition, transportation, Silver Lake assessment, and debt exclusion. Now they're coming in. When are they coming in, Linda?
Presumably, April 4th, I think it is, the first Monday in April.
Would you like to wait and vote on these after you've talked to them?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we went to committee, I went to committee 2 weeks ago. I know they're working very hard to bring them down. The biggest one is, the biggest challenge of all here is that $316,000 for special needs
that's
transportation.
ridiculous.
On the other things, they've been working these numbers really hard. I think we should give them credit for that, but let's give them the full time to April 4th and then talk to them then.
Okay.
Um,
Now we're on highway. Again, the highway wages, those are
Actual,
a union wage. So the steps, you actually see, they went down.
going down, yeah.
So
Is that
would you like to
is that a
vote those?
retirement?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a retirement, yeah, okay. So a motion, can I entertain a motion to accept the highway wages budget for fiscal 23?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So that carries.
And then we go
Traffic
down
lights.
to the tree. Oh, the traffic lights, sorry.
Traffic
yes.
lights.
Yeah.
So, Steve described this to us this year. I mean, the little things that climate change brings, like more windstorms. So I think it's a big rise, but I don't think we have much choice. Can I get a motion to recommend that we accept the fiscal 23 budget for traffic lights for town at 7,500?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and a roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and myself is a yes.
Okay, and now the tree maintenance.
So, a motion to accept the fiscal 23 budget for tree maintenance.
So moved. Second.
Okay, a roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. That carries.
Okay. Cemetery wages, again, that is the, it's a union.
It's a union,
So if
yeah.
it increases, yeah.
Right. So that reflects the union agreement. So we should vote to accept this. Could I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. A roll call vote. John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. That one carries. I'm mixing it up just to make sure we're all still
All
Just
still
paying
paying
attention.
attention. Yeah.
right.
Okay, so the water wages and the water clerical, again, they're both union. They're in the new mixed union, so
And one went
that can
down.
be voted. Superintendent salary is wage and personnel. I just forgot to shade it, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So could I, these are both union, right?
mhm.
So can we do it in one vote?
Yep, wages, water wages and water clerical together.
Or, yeah, so could we entertain a motion to approve lines 94 and 95, water wages and water clerical for fiscal 23?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
John,
Yeah.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself, Tom. It carries. Thank you.
Water supply has gone up 2%. Bill was in, I think he talked about some of this.
He didn't, but I do have some correspondence on it. If
Oh, all
you
right.
give me 2 seconds, I will
That's what I
find where I
saw.
put that piece of correspondence. Oh, okay, this is what he said, because he did email back. I told him that you had a couple questions on it last week, and he said that part of it was that in January, they had to start sampling with the PFAS quarterly tests, and that's an added expense to the year. I think he had actually spoken about that in one of the
He did
meetings.
discuss that with us. Yes.
Yep. And then he said that he also remembered that they had to request more money due to the lab was increasing prices on their testing. So that was part of the increase for those.
Okay. So could I mean, these are really just regulatory requirements that he's got to comply with. So
Right.
could I ask for a vote for us to, a motion for us to recommend acceptance of the fiscal 23 budget for water, the supply line?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
a roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Great, thank you.
Okay. I do have a note on the water retirement line. It looks like it went down, but yeah, let's see. This note. So this line should be funded at 20,000 and the water department will fund 75,000. Usually the water department gives us 55,000 in funding for our line. And then we just bill them the difference. Last year, because the town retirement account went up so much, we ended up, their line ended up needing extra funding. So we've increased the amount that they pay, that they fund the town line, and brought down the amount that we would be funding the difference, they would be funding the difference of. You can see in FY21, it was 21,000. FY22, we had been 31,000, just because that retirement line has been going up so much. So I wanted to explain that.
So it basically normalizing it back down to 20?
Right.
Okay. So could I ask for a motion to approve the water retirement line item on the budget for fiscal 23 at $20,000?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And a roll call vote. Cheryl?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
And myself is a yes.
Okay. Then it's water, gas, and oil, which has gone up $2,000. And if you've been to the gas pumps, you'll know why. They end up reimbursing us for any gas that they get down at the highway barn. So they fill their gas tanks down at the highway barn like we do, like the highway trucks and fire and police.
Yeah.
But they actually get billed by the highway department and reimburse the general fund. They're just preparing for an increase, like we're all thinking about.
Yeah.
Sure. So they spent 8,000 on it, 21. We
Yeah.
voted 11,000. So 30, it seems.
Right.
I mean, this is all a guess right now, but it seems to make sense. Could I ask for a motion then to accept the gas and oil budget for the water department in fiscal 23 at $13,000?
So moved.
Second? Okay, and a roll call vote. Michael?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
And myself as a yes. Thank you.
Recycling center. The recycling center wages,
That mixed use?
actually, that one should be, I'm gonna have to check that one. It should have been highlighted with the wage and personnel ones.
For
and I'm not
step,
sure.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I am gonna check that one out. Let's see. Before you vote it.
Yeah.
I will highlight that. Then we have the expense line, which actually went down. And then Sue just talked to you about the other two lines, the hazardous waste collection and the trash collection. We can hold on the hazardous waste. If you want to, let Sue and Steve talk about whether they want to take that 12,000 off.
Yeah, I think on hazardous waste, yeah, we should we should wait for their decision on what they want to do there. And on trash collection, we should see say that again, Cheryl?
We should wait on the trash collection too. Wasn't
Yeah,
she gonna
great.
put out bids?
Yeah, I was getting to that. Right. We should wait on the bids for that too. So
But the
hazardous
problem
waste
being it's
108.
not- The bids are not going to come in before we have to print the warrant.
You can vote to make a recommendation at town meeting if you want the warrant printed that way.
Good idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
astronomical.
yeah.
All right, so do you want to vote line 107, recycling center expense?
Yes, sorry. So yes, could
That's right.
could we entertain a motion to accept line 107, right, recycling center expense at
Right.
39,046?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Michael?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. So we'll wait on 108 and 109, or, well, on 109, should we just wait to vote?
What
I think
I
we should
can do for 109, if you, I mean, we can't not put a number in.
Right,
We could put in this number, but give it a letter saying, waiting for bid prices to come in, recommendation at town meeting. I'm not sure exactly. We've never done that on a budget item.
Mhm.
So let me
think we
think about that one. Let's hold off.
Okay,
till next
let's
meeting.
hold
We'll
off
talk.
till next
Okay.
week and see how we should structure that, but we should
Yeah,
give them as much
Okay.
room as possible to see if they can fix that.
right.
Right.
Council on Aging expense went up $650.
I'm sorry, I had a quick,
That's-
Sandy, a quick question on the waste collection line. Is that?
Yep.
Is there an offsetting revenue item there from the blue bags? Is that where that hits?
Yes. So I did have a discussion with Sue regarding that.
Yeah.
If we keep it at that price, she's going to have to go up on the blue bags.
Right,
Now, recycling is also an enterprise account. So whatever they spend, we get from their revenue and expenditures, their revenue and their retained earnings. Their retained earnings is not very healthy. We've been paying for most of their budget with their revenues. If we have to keep it at the 332, 460, she is going to have to go up quite a bit on the blue bags.
They're
with the
already
idea that she
probably
should be
not.
breaking even?
That's the idea, is to try to get it to break even.
She should be breaking even?
We've been doing very well, keeping it so that it's about breaking even.
About break even?
Yeah. We do for the selectmen every year, I do a cash flow sheet that just shows each section on the recycling and how it's paying, what's being, where it's getting its money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the recycling fee does not offset the trash collection. The recycling fee is for the recycling expenses.
Right,
The trash collection is offset by the sale of bags. So
Okay.
she would definitely have to go up on the price of
Okay.
the bags.
that would stink.
Yeah,
Right.
sure would. They're
But
expensive
that's,
enough.
well, that's one of the reasons why she is going out to bid, because she'd
Yeah.
really rather not
Yeah.
have to go up on those
For sure.
prices.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
all right.
still cheaper than private, but we
It
need
is
to,
still
we need to
cheaper,
see if
yeah.
we can maintain that for people who
Right,
need it.
just, she said it was such a huge increase. It's like $1 a bag at
Yeah,
least.
it's ridiculous.
It was
And
over
to-
$1 a bag when she told me.
Right, so to do that, it would just be, it would be quite a shock
Sure it would.
to
Okay.
people. So that's why she's really hoping by going out to bid, she can take care of that.
Fix it.
So,
So
right.
we'll hope that she can make progress there. Okay.
I think, does Cheryl have a question?
I do. My phone is gonna, unfortunately, my laptop isn't working and I have to do Zoom on my phone. My phone is gonna die.
Oh,
Oh,
well, what time is it? I think we're at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Why don't we then, I'm sure we're all a little leery eyed here. Why don't can we make a motion to adjourn here and we'll pick this up next Monday? We've made good progress on these
Sounds good.
votes.
Tom, it's Caesar. If we wanted to, I did talk to our account manager, Rico. I do have that warranty answer if you guys wanted to hear it now.
Yep. Yeah, well, we can save that for next week. I want to table and motion to adjourn because I don't know when we'll lose Cheryl. So we should do that for the
Sorry.
conversation. Oh, I understand. Our lives are built around batteries. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
And a roll call vote. Michael,
Yes.
Cheryl,
yes.
John,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and myself as a yes. Thank you all. That was a good, very productive 2 hours. We'll go back at it next week. Thank you all.
So,
very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good
night,
night, all.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye.